Hey y'all, today the motor made noise. My name is Andrew. This is the OK Humvee. Well, welcome back. As you can tell, probably it's raining, so the garage door closed and a weird light and it's echoey. If I open the door, it's loud because I need to fix my gutter and it just drains down and splashes on the metal. So you get what you get. This is probably best case scenario for today because it is like 70 degrees and the last video was 103. So like a lot cooler. So today, a little different than the last video. If you didn't watch it, go check it out. The starter made noise for the first time in an embarrassing amount of time, considering what the issue was. Yeah, haven't watched it, go watch that. You may have noticed that I just bumped it. I didn't want to try to turn it over, and that's because when I bought the engine, it had been pickled for storage. I did not know what pickling an engine was, or even if that was a thing, or if the guy was just saying words. Pickling is a thing, and I'm grateful that he pickled this motor. So what pickling is, well, as you know, if you're gonna have a motor sit for a while, moisture get in there, a lot of things can happen, and it can rust, and not a good deal. However, if you put oil in the top, where moisture could, in theory, start to seep, it's gonna have oil that's gonna slowly seep through the cylinder walls and down through. Now when I bought it, he told me to drain the oil and drain the oil off the top. I didn't think anything of that. I drained the oil, changed the pan. I did not check for the oil on the top. And what can happen is, if there is still oil on the top, which I don't know if there is, and I try to turn it over, that oil has nowhere to go. It can bend things and be overall not good. So today we're going to pull some glow plugs and see if we can find any oil in the top. Again, he did tell me. I just didn't ask questions, didn't listen. I was just excited to have a motor. What we're going to try this with is interesting. So you know, Harbor Freight had these on sale. Multi-use siphon pump, transfer pump. This is not gonna fit, but it's good to have, and it was like $7. And I may be able to step down from here. So this is the pump. So we may use this. I also bought from Amazon a turkey baster. So I like to fry turkeys every year. I'll probably end up doing 10 this year. And these little marinade injectors are great. My thought is that with the plunger, why does it have so many things? Never use one of these. I always use the one that comes with my Creole butter, which not a sponsor, but definitely could be with the amount of turkeys I get. Okay, that's interesting. Anyways, my thought is that if this, okay, anyways, obviously that's how you inject. My thought is we have something on the end of this. We can use this to suck up any fluid that's in there and pretty easily see, forget anything, without having to travel a full distance of that into a receptacle. But again, like this is not gonna, I mean, yeah, that would probably fit in, but I don't know if I can get this whole thing into each of the areas necessary to get a glow plug straight in. So in addition to these 3 items, we have a set of Arnold fuel lines from Lowe's, because I've got one with an outside diameter of 1/8 of an inch, which I think will be enough. I think will be small enough, I should say, to fit in the glow plug hole. Although it's not very long. I don't know how much. It doesn't have to go too far of a distance. It's my garage door light because there's motion for myself. And I do have this glow plug was in the old motor, and it's missing a lot of parts. However, this does fit inside where the glow plug should come out. Therefore, that tells me this will more than likely fit in the glow plug hole. Okay, with this one, yeah, that's gonna be too big. Here it does work. Got to figure out how to get this. Maybe we put this on here. Yeah, that one. These needles all have different amounts of holes in them. And this one doesn't have any but the bottom. So in theory, we can put this guy on here, add some tape to them. I've never tried this before, so if this doesn't work, we'll see. Okay, this end goes in. We see if there's oil in there. So that's on today's agenda. No, I will not reuse this for turkeys. Also wanted to share with you another thing that has arrived. We've talked about this a couple times from Leroy Diesel. Leroy Diesel was kind enough to sell me this. Wow, it's beautiful. And my table's slanted. I don't want to do anything to jeopardize the integrity of this anodized solid billet aluminum chunk of pulley. It is significantly lighter. It is solid as one piece. It doesn't have this bushing, and I don't know if you can see on camera, but mine is, well, this is this was on the motor that came with the truck, I think. I don't know. This is one of them. This was the worst of the two. Neither of them were great. This one has a freaking spider in it. So I'm gonna set that down. But as you can tell, not only is it just rusty in the grooves, like probably not great for the life of the belts. This bushing can disintegrate over time. This one's got some cracking in it, some dry rot already. If that fails, bad things happen. So this goes into a pile of doom. And this, golly, this is just so much lighter, and it's beautiful. LeroyDiesel.com, if you need one, check them out. A lot of the H1 and Humvee guys, and just 6.5 guys that I've talked to, the guy who lives out in the desert that had, a fleet full of 6.5s, not just in Humvees. He has a Humvee, but he's got others. This came highly recommended, so I'm very excited about that. While the cooling stack and all that stuff are out, I'll at least be able to see what I'm doing a little better, so I like to go ahead and put that on. So that's the goal for today, or at least for this video. I may not get it all done today, but for you, it'll be the next 20 minutes to an hour. Bye, Koozie. Like and subscribe. Leave me a comment. All that. Yeah, you get it. So this is probably going to be the easiest one to show. And so this may be the only one I get on camera. But that little red plug right there, that's the glow plug wire. Let's see if we can get in there and see anything. So that is a glow plug wire. I will unplug that and use I think it's maybe like a 3/8 deep well socket, pull out the glow plug, stick the fuel line tube in there with the ejector on the end and see if anything comes out. We'll see if this works, if I got enough tube, and we'll at least give it due diligence of trying to not screw up a new to me motor. Also, I can't imagine there's too much oil left in the top. He used like a zero weight, I think, but it's worth checking on any of these that I can. You know, obviously those by the firewall, a little bit different, a little bit more challenging. Probably have to get those from the inside. Might have to get a longer fuel line, and where's my watch? I have to try a longer fuel line on some of these, but this at least gets us started. Alright. See, that's the silver thing sticking out. We're gonna pull that out, and it's gonna come right out because I put all the all the silver messy stuff on there that I could goop on it. Also, so a couple things. There's a chance that there is no oil in here anymore. That's all kind of seeped out of the top, which would be fine. I also don't feel the need to get it, like if there's some in there, as long as I get most of it out, I think it's gonna be fine. Especially because, while not recommended, there have been guys that have talked about their glow plugs breaking off into their motor and that it just chewed them out and swallowed them. This is the glow plug, and I got crap on me already, but it came right out. These will swell, so if you're buying a Gov Planet special, just go ahead and have these. Buy the good ones, not the fake ones. If you don't know, these don't have spark plugs. They have glow plugs that glow and heat up and do similar things to spark plug, but anyways, that's what the weight light's for and all that stuff. And all you who know what I'm talking about, like, yeah, there's a better way to explain that, dummy. So anyways, okay, the glow plug is out. We've got our little homemade contraption guy here. Why is that? We've got this. Let us see. You know, I don't really know what I'm hoping for. Like, do I hope that this works and the oil comes out, or do I hope that no oil comes out and then I have to decide if this just did get to the oil or if there's none left in there? I don't know which is a better case scenario. Okay, slowly but surely that is feeding in just perfectly. Yeah, and I don't know how far. Also, I don't know if this cylinder is topside or not. Where does that ground need to go? To the generator. That's from the grounding harness. It doesn't. It's feeding in. I think I'm just gonna feed it in as much as I can. It does. I don't know if it's bunching up in there or not. I don't really know. It's not in any fluid. It's not wet at all. It's got some anti-seize, what do y'all call it? Anti silver stuff, thread lube, graphite. Try it one more time. Just shove it all the way till it won't, because it's either bottoming out or it's pointing up the top. But I'm hoping if I just do this a couple times, push it all the way in, and then, okay. Nothing on that one. And that one was pretty deep all the way in. All right, so I'll put this glow plug back in and we'll move on to the next one. All right, right down in there is another one that I think I can show you. Tried a couple, they've all been dry, so try this one and go from there. Okay. Ugh. I don't know if you can see this hacked up part of the body right here, this hole we had to cut to get the engine to clear. If you're doing a turbo diesel swap, you gotta trim that, ideally before you spend 6 hours videoing yourself fighting with the motor, only to remember it later. Okay, unplugged, put my watch back on so I wouldn't lose it, but now that was done. I know you probably can't see what's going on, but to be honest, I can't really either. But I do know that once you break it loose, you need to try to get your ratchet out, otherwise you're going to be trapped with it sitting in there. Ask me how I know. Was it because I measured and determined that the length needed was not enough, or have I trapped one in here today? The answer is I trapped one in here today. I may have trapped a second one in here today. Ah! You know, for having a doghouse and being mid-engine and stuff, like, there's still not a ton of space to work on this. I guess it's better than if this was, well, no, because that would not be in the middle of the firewall. Dang, that a sharp metal bit just kind of digs into the skin, and it's not fun. Oh, did I tighten it back up? Ooh. Okay. All right, again, another glow plug. The hole for these is very precise, so if it swells up, it's hard to get these out. There is an extractor tool I use on the old motor. It's super helpful. They can still break. So if you haven't done this, and you probably need to, just take it slow, be careful. Yeah, I hate these. All right, let's see if we get anything out of this one. I haven't got anything out of the others. I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to show this very easily. We're gonna try. See if I can get it threaded, routed in. We'll maybe move the camera down there. Come on. This one, okay. Okay, so here's the injector, and then there's the needle, and you may be able to see. Not very well. Anyways, you can just trust me that, yeah, right there, barely. And that's it going in to the hole. So we'll see if anything comes out of this one. Nope. Okay. And it's not wet either. So it's not wet. It's got a little anti-seize on it, so it leads me to believe all the oil that was at the top has, at least on this side, has since soaked through. So I'll try a couple on the other side, but maybe there's nothing left to pull out. That was a lot more than I thought it was going to be. There's one more that I need to do on this side, but I think I can get to it right there. So I'm going to check one more. Check one more right in there. Originally I thought I was going to be able to get to it easier from in the cab. That is not the case. So we're going to go back over here, right there, and try to get that last one. All right. Okay, that little guy, already unplugged him. We'll get him out. We'll try to use our suction tool and see what we get. Important engine information. General Engine Products LLC, a subsidiary of AM General LLC. Its engine has been exempted. Okay. Turkey baster time. Oh dang, I can't even see. Where'd the hole go? After a while, you kind of get the hang of these. All right. Well, I'll at least show you so you have some video proof. Actually, this one may be the easiest to. All right, back in there. You can see where it's going into the block. And I've already done this once. Let's see if I can do it with my left hand. Don't hear anything gurgling when I push it in, and then it's as far in as I could get it, and there's no resistance at all. So I've got, again, I guess I don't know 100% sure that this was enough to reach in, but it is a good bit of tubing, so it's not the slightest bit wet. So I think, unless I were to get another hose and try to do this all again, that's longer. I don't know. Is that enough to get down to the bottom? If at least some of these cylinders should be at the top. So we may just make bad choices. Okay. Hey, it's me, Andrew. You may be wondering why I've paused it here. I just want to give you a little note. You may remember in the previous video the stupid face I made. Out of joy and excitement, it's the first time I heard the starter in a really long time, and I'm a little emotional, let my face muscles take over, and, well, just watch. So yeah, in this moment, I'm actually thinking about how to not make that face. But if you watch closely, my face kind of involuntarily does something. Enjoy. Okay. Okay. It turns. Okay. It actually sounds pretty good. Okay. I don't want to do anything else at this point. As far as turn it over, fuel lines aren't hooked up. I want to make sure we're getting oil pressure, and I don't know if any of these gauges, yeah, none of the gauges work because I'm sure the ground is not connected because the voltage and everything, yeah. But yeah, those have lit up before, so I want to make sure that all works. I also don't want to shoot, you know, fluids out the front because none of the coolers are hooked up and connected, but that that is exciting. It's the first time I've heard this motor spin over, and I don't even know if I'm in the shop, but I'm pretty excited about that. Okay. Let's see if we can put that crank pulley on. Okay, so problem I'm having is that those are really tight, and it is a pulley, and the pulley's turning, and so it's just turning the motor, which on one hand is also, again, you know, good news that the motor turns, unlike the last one. However, we're gonna have to get creative with trying to break those loose. I'm gonna try the impact. I don't know if that's gonna do anything. Got the breakover bar and maybe try to wedge some stuff in there, but yeah, keep posted. You know, I had several people offer to come help me. Hey, just let me know when you're working on it next and I'll come help. And I didn't plan anything because the baby's due like any moment. So I didn't want somebody to plan on coming out here and they're like, oh, well, sorry. They just got here, but gotta go to the hospital. What do you know? I think it's working. Okay. Oh. That guy on the left, he's loose. About to tackle this one on the bottom, closest. And we gotta go over this bar right here. There's no way I can do this for the video. All right, the third one is loose. Makes a world of difference. All right, all four of those are loose. All righty. Sweet. So, right off the bat, one thing I forgot about was this spacer that's on the back. So this is the new one that I'm gonna put on. This is the one I just pulled off. This is the old one. So, the grooves in this one for the old motor are just not good. So it's a good thing we do that. Let's see if I can get the spacer off of this. I don't know. Honestly, that one's just as rusty as this one. Either way, I'm probably going to try to wire brush them, clean them up a little bit before I put them back on. But obviously this one is worse for the wear. This one's not as bad, but there's probably a date code on these, but I just don't want to risk it. I've already got everything pulled out. I can see what I'm doing. I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I would like to try to use this one. So, of course I can't get light in there for it to focus on it, but there we go. It's just pretty rusty. So we'll wire brush it, Try to make it nice and clean. And then that goes on. Oh, one thing too, if you are getting this, the Humvees have the 8 groove belts. The H1 does not. So if you're buying one of these, or I guess any of the other 6.5s, well, maybe the H1 does. Anyways, there are 2 options for these. One is 6 grooves and one is 8. If you're putting this on a Humvee, make sure you get 8. If not, make sure you're putting the right one on. Also, my daughter broke my glasses, so they're like sitting crooked and it's driving me crazy. I gotta fix that. Okay. Oh, you know what? That spider's still in there. We're gonna just put him back over there. And I'm gonna try to delicately remove this. Or I could just clean this one up. We'll try to delicately remove this one first and just see what happens. Delicate removal was a success. Let's hydrate. Oh man, it's my last can. I'm gonna wire brush this and try to get this clean. Okay, because I've been patient, I'm just going to go ahead and paint this, even though it's not super ideal with it being a little rainy, but we're going to go ahead and paint this. I'm going to put primer on it. It's set on the lid so I don't stick to this cardboard, but okay, the new pulleys down there. I don't know if that helps you see or not. I don't know. It looks nice. It's just in with some new bolts. I'm gonna tighten them down, torque them up, and then I'll be ready for. Actually, that will be the end of that because it's just 4 bolts. The spacer, I put some grease on there too, just so it wouldn't hurt anything. Put some anti-seize on the bolts just to kind of help that. I gotta look the torque specs back up, but I'm sure they're just pretty tight. Okay, so I was wrong. The torque specs on those is only 37 foot-pounds, pound-feet, whatever. If you're wondering, the extension blade is right in the drip pan. Oh man, the fan blade won't let it. Whatever. I'll just make it harder on myself. Okay, come back with the torque wrench and make sure those are 37, and that part's done. While I'm down here, I'll get some iPhone video for you of what's next. So first of all, there's our Leroy Diesel solid aluminum crank pulley. So like that. That there is lift pump, and I've ordered a new one. That'll be next time. Just might as well go ahead and swap that bad boy out. So yeah, that's where we are. All right, y'all, I think that's gonna be it for today's episode. I don't want to try to fire it up yet. I need to double check oil. I didn't have enough last time to fill it, so I want to make sure it's got oil in it. And might as well just do all the fluid at once. Fuel lines aren't hooked up. Fuel filter, need to put the new canister in, make sure that's bolted up. I've ordered a new lift pump and gasket and the plate and the gasket for that. because the rod apparently is tricky. So I'm gonna put that in next time, whenever that may be. And then yeah, we'll go from there. We'll try to fire it up. Probably make a big mess, but it's all right. And then the rubber duck tri-cooler can go on the front. The radiator can go in, hook up all those lines. Fuel lines, did I say that? Hopefully the pump works. But again, all that's down the road for next time. Today, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for all the comments on the last video. The positive ones, the support for finally getting the starter engaged were mostly outweighed the negative ones of, hey, I told you so, and that's all right. I told myself I was an idiot. So thanks again for sticking with me through this. I promise I'm trying to make some progress. I do feel like I've made more progress the last 2 weeks than, I don't know, all summer. So thanks for sticking with me. Make sure to subscribe and like and subscribe, and buy some merch, and leave me a comment, and follow me on Instagram and all the different things that I say. And till next time, see you later. Crank pulley, lift pump's been ordered. Starter, now that works. Is that all we did today?